Tres, dos, uno. Bienvenidos to Geek Therapy Radio. That's all the Spanish I know.
Bienvenidos.
I am your mental curator, Johnny Hemberger. You will not believe the tale we have for you today. This show is 135% unplanned, both in location and subject matter. I have a special guest. It's going to give you some indication of how the zaniness behind the show. My special guest is Daniel SSSSSSS.
Hello.
And you know that anytime we're together, it's probably going to be in some far-off land of this world somewhere. I'm supposed to be getting married on Saturday, and Dan has flown in from the Netherlands, and we went on a bachelor party. What was it? Sunday night, which I was completely content with. I was so happy. I was so thankful for all my friends. And
when it's your bachelor party, is it really all about what you want?
Apparently not. So I went to bed at 1 a.m. or something Sunday night. I was snoozing so comfortably. Everything was just bliss. I remember waking up, having to go to the bathroom, thinking, am I going to be hungover for work tomorrow? We didn't have that much that night.
We had a fair bit.
Okay, we had a fair bit, but I was just like, oh, that was a nice bachelor party. We ate really good steak. We went to Steak 48. It was absolutely exquisite. But
one of the best steaks I've had, I would say. It was really good.
It's
outstanding.
Just delicious. But that's not where the story ends. No, not at all.
That's where it begins.
I was in bed sleeping just fine. What is the speaker noise?
What is that sound?
Okay, let me just fast forward so people know, because they're hearing ocean sounds, they're hearing speakers behind us.
Ice cream truck?
I don't know. Dan, where are we? Where did you steal me from? You put a pillowcase over my head and stole me in the morning time at 6 a.m.
6 a.m.
And where did we wind up?
We showed up, and we ended up in the nation of El Salvador.
So, right now you hear the ocean behind us because Dan stole me in the middle of the night and took me to El Salvador. And we are a couple minutes into the show. We haven't even opened what are these? They're just labeled Pilsner.
These are Pilsner lagers.
Cerveza Lager Clásica.
Makes no sense.
But it's beer.
It's beer.
And then we're going to drink it. Oh, here's the bottle opener. Dan says this bottle opener is rusty, but it should still do the trick. So Let's see. Let me do it by the microphone.
I found it in the cocina.
Let me see by the microphone. Oh, jeez. Dan.
It's not working.
What is this? What did you find here? It has no tooth on it. Okay, you just got to get it just right.
Yeah, it's got to be.
There's my Pilsner.
Okay, here's my Pilsner lager.
I apologize if the audio quality sounds not up to quite the snuff, but listen, I was kidnapped in the middle of the night. This is just what I had on me. But it still should be just fine. I was worried about the wind noise and the ocean waves, but guess what? This is just a bonus. I'm getting married on Saturday. I should not be working or doing any of this.
If we make it back in one piece.
Oh, speaking of One Piece, Dan and I went to lunch just now. We went to a brewery. Breweries are popping up apparently all over the world, even in El Salvador. I don't want to speak too loudly about the condition of the country because, well, we're in the country and there's people very...
well, there's a family living in where we're living.
Yeah. So, a brief...
Oh, we didn't even do a toast, Johnny. You just drink it.
Well, okay.
Toast to our third beer of the day.
The third beer, and these are like 20 ounces. These are massive bottles. Oh my goodness. Okay, so there's a brewery. It was called Wolf Butt or something. Cadejo?
Cadejo.
We don't know what it means currently yet. I'm sure I'll learn it between now and when the podcast goes up. I think it means Wolf Cadejo.
No idea.
Cadeh or EGO.
There were wolves and magic everywhere.
And there was dogs having sex on the menu, which was pretty good food, and the beer was all right, I think.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: we ate food. It was just dandy. Had a magnificent view, just beautiful of the Pacific Ocean.
Yep.
Down here in El Salvador.
Specifically the Pacific Ocean.
Specifically, it's the Pacific. Had a lovely view. I ate a margarita pizza. A tentacle got on it, but I ate it anyways. We had a long discussion about tentacles and if certain body parts
contain tentacles.
tentacles.
Could you connect tentacles?
And if I can be so PG rated that, what if on the male human species a certain body part had suction cups on it? What that would mean for, just for like being cordial, like in business setting, what would suction cups
How do they
on
add,
that region?
Yeah, how could they add to the situation? Suction cups.
Yeah, in a normal situation you'd shake hands, but if you had suction cups on that part, would it mean different like business ramifications or the way who knows?
It could become way more formal.
Yes, you'd wear not just cufflinks on your wrists, but all right, move on.
Okay.
Because that's not where I was going with that story. When we were done with lunch, we walked out, and I wanted to take a picture with the guard because, as it appears, El Salvador has gone through a bit of civil war and different historical things over the past 30, 40 years or so, but they're getting, from what I understand, on their feet a little better now. But there are still, seeing a machine gun around is not uncommon here. We've only been here for a day and a half or so, and we've seen so many machine guns. So at the exit / entrance of this brewery, there was a man standing there with a shotgun. So as we were leaving and had a couple beers in us, we asked if we could take a picture with this guard, and he was so happy to oblige. He was chipper, and he was very polite about it. Like, he was super stoked.
Yeah.
I asked if I could hold his gun.
He got
said,
real
oh, he got
stern
testy
on
about that.
one,
He said,
yeah.
hey, absolutely not. No bueno, no touching the guns. Absolutely no. But he took a picture.
Just for a second, just stop and think about in the world of anywhere. If you stopped and asked to hold a policeman or soldier's firearm,
Well, I just did
just
that.
the idea that you even asked them is
Nope.
just ludicrous, Johnny.
No more than an hour ago, I asked this soldier if I could hold his gun for a picture. He said no, but we posed for the picture. He was excited about that. He aimed the shotgun unintentionally.
Unintentional. That's very
Unintentionally. That's very important. Unintentionally, right at my face.
important. I got a picture of it. Can you insert a picture in your things?
Yeah, if I put this video on YouTube, I'll insert a picture right here of the shotgun being aimed more or less at my face. Right? If you're watching this on YouTube, if I even upload this to YouTube, you're seeing a live, real-time video of where we're at. This is our backyard right now. The palm trees and the ocean in the background. It's really nice. So as I'm recording this, I'm recording the video to go along with it. But yeah, I'll insert the picture of the shotgun to my face.
Just take note of Johnny's face when he looks very nervous.
I noted because I'm the one who noticed. I looked down. There's a barrel of a shotgun aimed right at my face. I just go, oh geez, he's aiming right at my face. So in the picture, maybe I'm leaning back or something to get out of blast radius of the shotgun, and it led us to ask some questions. El Salvador is very beautiful. I mean, to say the least, it's very beautiful. It's not the most expensive to be in. There's stories of people coming here for a day or two. Some, not locals, but visitors were telling us that people come here, visit for a day or two, and then they just wind up staying for months or years. They just don't go back to wherever they're from.
Yep.
So we were talking to some guy from California. I think he's one of the people who told us that, yeah, people come here for the weekend, they just wind up staying for a few weeks.
Yeah, staying for a month.
So, back to what I was getting at, it's apparently a paradise. Like, it's like this jewel that you don't often think, let's go on vacation to El Salvador.
Right.
But once you get here, it's nice, depending on what you want out of it. If you're wanting to stay at a five-star resort and get pampered and be in air conditioning 24 hours a day, no, that's not for you.
Well, they do have that.
They do.
It's just not as prevalent as some other Caribbean or Central American countries. Because yesterday where we had lunch, I mean, that's a nice place.
It's right there. You can see the roof of it just right there. It looks so much closer to how we walked yesterday. We walked for 10 miles and found it. It's just 200 yards away right now.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. That kind of goes into what I'm saying is people stay because there's not Wi-Fi everywhere. You don't have exactly, well, right now on roaming data, I can't get on Facebook and do a whole bunch of stuff you normally do. So finding things like Google Mapsing things and just researching what there is to do is a little bit more difficult to do once you get here. So maybe people stay a little bit longer after they get the lay of the land. And once you get the lay of the land, it's really wonderful. You know where to go to get food even. You're thinking about where are we going to go to get groceries, where are we going to go to get water. You just kind of figure that out when you get here. There's a bunch of roadside
kiosks, really.
Kiosks and
I
stores,
wouldn't even
whatever.
call them stores because you can't go inside. It's just a window and a lady, and you just say agua.
Or cerveza,
Yeah.
and they know what you want, and you get it. So I think people come here. I don't know why. See that. Why did you choose this place to kidnap me? Of all the places in the world you could have brought me and kidnapped me to, we could have gone to California or New Mexico or Colorado. What made you choose El Salvador?
It was curiosity, proximity, and price. Combination of those three things, really.
It took like 2.5 hours from Houston to fly to El Salvador.
Yeah, it's nothing. We left in the morning. We were here like lunchtime.
And the change of pace from what you're used to in a civilized, modern country it's really crazy. 2.5 hours to get here. I've never been to Africa, but I imagine there's places in Africa not too far off from the state of infrastructure.
Absolutely, yeah.
Which is good. I'm not saying that as a bad thing. It's a good thing. Dan and I were talking about the other day, we don't think a lot of Americans, or any world travelers for that matter, anywhere in the world, think about Central America. What is it, Banana Republics down here?
Well, Central America. Oh, I mean, because plenty of people go to Costa Rica and Panama and Belize.
Yeah.
I mean, those are filled with Americans. But some of the more obscure places like Nicaragua, for example, and here in El Salvador, still have a sort of a reputation of old of being a place that's not really safe for travelers to go to. And is it perfect? Is it as safe as you might want it to be? Still no.
But that's part of the adventure.
Yeah.
And in a way, I would say that's kind of part of the charm.
Yeah.
I mean, I would prefer not to have a shotgun pointed at my face. See, the thing is, though, what makes that such an exceptional story is that he didn't point it at my face on purpose.
He was overjoyed to just be with you and take that picture.
He was super excited to be with me. So that is like the scarier thing about it. Is it did appear that he had the discipline, which made us wonder on the ride home, was there actually any ammunition in the gun?
Was he trained to use that gun?
Was he trained to use the gun even if it were?
It begs the question, if somebody came up and wanted to rob that establishment or maybe murder us or take us hostage, was that guy really going to help us at all? My guess is no.
Sarah, when you're listening to this, I'm sorry. We're making it sound way worse than it... Well, I don't know, actually. We're not dead yet.
No, I mean, we're alive. I guess we got nothing to complain about.
Yeah, we got a beautiful view. Last night, though, our first night here, the power... Let me set this up a little bit. Dan has been traveling across the globe for like the previous 72, really like the last 72 hours. Dan has just been
basically no sleep from the time I left Holland. Well, even the day before, like no sleep. Traveling from Holland to Houston, touching down, going straight to grabbing a quick shower, going straight to dinner, meeting up with the guys, drinking, having a good time, going out to Dave & Buster's, playing games, staying up, getting back at like 1:30 in the morning, having an hour sleep, coming back to pick Johnny up, take him to the airport, fly to El Salvador, stay out in the sun, drink beers, all on basically no sleep.
So last night we went to bed at like 8:30. Dan was falling asleep between words of sentences.
I was standing up and then waking up.
He was very tired, and so we went to bed at about 8:30. Dan said, if I could just push it to 9 o'clock, I think I'll be all right. Because then you get 8 hours and wake up, just before dawn. It might not seem like such a waste. Versus going to bed at 7 and waking up at 3 or in the middle of the night. So anyways, we didn't have much choice because the power just went out. And not just at our house, within the whole city, basically.
You call it a city.
Okay, well, this village.
This is a village.
Okay, this village, the power went out in the village, which, it was nice in its own way, but also, it was kind of disconcerting. I was like, what if someone just cut the power and they're running into this touristy... It's not really that touristy. Maybe it is a little bit. We didn't know. That's what I'm saying. It's part of the charm, is you're not used to rolling blackouts, in the middle of Houston. Sometimes it happens in the summertime if the grid gets overloaded, but you know, I don't know. It kind of kept looking over the shoulder. What if people are like just coming into the compound to take whatever money we have,
or just to take us,
kidnap us, something like that?
Yeah.
I shouldn't be overly scaring my bride-to-be getting married on Sunday.
That's a good point.
But
she'll listen to this after the wedding.
Depends when I upload it.
Okay.
She might want to know how things are going.
We should definitely not let her listen to this until after you get home.
Okay.
I think that's probably just so she doesn't worry about you.
That might be a better plan of action. But then again, YOLO. See, the thing is, I don't know if we're going to have Wi-Fi again to even upload this.
Yeah.
I have no idea when I'm going to be able to put the show up. Usually I would put it up this evening, but we'll see. Maybe when we go to dinner, we'll have some Wi-Fi. But we'll see. We'll see. So the power went out. Very tired. We just went to bed at 8:30 or so. No air conditioning. They do have little air conditioning units in the rooms here, but
those require electricity.
They require electricity, so we didn't get to use them. But it wasn't really that bad. I fell asleep, but I woke up a handful of times because I was sweating. But it really wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I fell asleep fine. Well,
you were just
yeah, it didn't really matter. I could have been in a sauna on the surface of the sun. I think I would have just fallen asleep pretty quickly. And I slept fine. I woke up a few times because nearby is I think they call it the Pacific Highway.
Oh,
like
yeah.
That. And all the trucks are using their air brakes because it's very rugged terrain. They're going up and down and they're using their air brakes. And there are no nice signs like in the little nice resort towns in New Mexico, Colorado, where they say no air brakes. Well, that doesn't exist here. So all night and all day you hear brrr, and that's a truck. So a couple
it
times,
was just me a couple of those times.
A couple of times I just woke up, didn't know where I was disoriented, and then I realized does it really matter where I am, and I went back to sleep.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. There was a few times when we were sitting down there last night just looking up at the stars. And you just feel these waves of where am I? Because you got to remember, I woke up mere hours before that in my own bed, being stolen from the comforts of home, and then just mere hours later, I'm looking up at all the stars in the universe, literally. You can see all the stars. There's no light pollution here.
Yep.
And the waves crashing in the palm trees in the moonlight, just thinking, how the hell? What happened?
Yeah.
Am I dreaming? Is this a dream? Am I gonna wake up in the bed? Like, what? Did I drink that much on a bachelor party night that this is all just a crazy dream hallucination? No, but I was here. We were here.
Really, at Dave & Buster's, you got hit in the head really hard. And we're still there at Dave & Buster's, and you're just dreaming.
Oh, we are?
Of this. Yeah.
Well, don't wake me up for a little while, I guess, because this is pretty nice. The ocean is blue.
The water temperature is great.
The water temperature is perfect, and I'm probably keen to go for another swim before
we should do that.
The day's out for sure.
Yep.
So the water temperature is nice. It's not too cold. It's definitely not too warm. The sand, the beach here is black because apparently Central America is very highly active volcanically.
Yeah.
And if you've never walked on a black sand beach, the sand is very soft.
It is super soft.
You just it's like velvety. You just sink into it. It's real nice. And then you go on the ocean, and the waves here are pretty intense.
Yeah.
If you're just used to Galveston or something like that, I would say the waves here are about on par with what I experienced in San Diego and Dana Point when my dad lived out there. Just shockingly big waves for what you're used to.
Well, they're big, and if you have any surfing, surfing people that listen to your podcast, they'll know exactly what I'm talking about. There's big as in size and the height, the number of feet. There's also volume and heaviness of the wave that take. Oh, really? No.
Yeah.
I used to live in Australia, and I talked to surfers, and they would say well, this such and such a wave is higher, but this one is heavier, and it makes it more difficult or easier or whatever.
Yeah.
And I feel like these waves are very powerful. They're decent size, but they're strong waves.
I see. The amplitude and the volume of the wave. You're right, because I'm picturing if you're looking at the wave from the side, from the curl, like watching it curl from the side angle.
Yeah.
How big is the column of water behind it pushing that curl?
Yeah.
Versus a very short, narrow wave could have the same curl, but once it crashes, it's done.
Yeah.
Or the curl doesn't last very long. The surfers here are being selective because not every single wave that crashes is a perfect barrel that runs, for half a mile. We're in a little cove here, so I think it's not a bay. It's too small to be a bay. Maybe it's big enough to be a bay. I don't know. But anyways, it's focusing on the waves in here. So the surfers, they're being very selective about the waves they take. We could do a whole episode about the theory behind surfing, because we're watching these surfers just as lay people. Why did they take that wave? Why did they take that wave? That one looks good, but they skip it up, they skip, and then they take ones that maybe we wouldn't necessarily think about, but they ride the curl very long. Like the break of the wave is very progressive, and it just breaks and breaks and breaks as they go off to the left.
Yeah.
For our orientation, they go to the left while the curl is breaking as it goes. So that's apparently a whole big part of surfing lessons. I've never seen surfing lessons advertise the theory behind picking waves, like how to look at the wave. I've always just seen surfing lessons, learn how to get up on a board. But here we saw surfing lessons, and one of the bullet points was learn how to spot a good wave. Mm-hmm. So you don't waste your time, finding a wave that looks good, then you drop in on it, and then it just crashes and it's done. Yeah. There's way more to looking for the proper type of swell. It's very fascinating.
Which I'm not sure that we'll have time to take that course, but I am interested in, at some point, I would like to learn about that. Just to understand, how do you pick a good wave? Which is the one that you actually want to take?
Yeah.
We didn't really mention, but this is, you were talking about surfers, but this is a surfer's hotspot, a surfer's paradise, if you will.
Yeah.
And that was part of my research when I was choosing a place to kidnap you to. I saw this one, and I read a lot of reviews, and most of them were surfers' reviews saying, this place is great, the surfing here is great, and the surfing, a couple more beaches down to the east are also really good for surfing, if that's your thing.
Yeah, so if you're listening, consider El Salvador for surfing. It really, I'm not a pro surfer, but I've been to places in the world where surfing is very highly regarded, and this is as good as any I've seen. And as far as, let's compare to the only kind of surfing analog I have right now is, off the top of my head, is San Diego, Dana Point. I would say that here is probably a better place, if just to come here, because in the airport we saw a guy with a surfboard in the luggage, a surfboard suitcase thing. Your dollar will stretch so much further here. I think people come here, you could come here the entire summer versus blow all that in 1 week in Dana Point.
Yeah.
It's also it's laid back. If you're a surfer and you're just laid back and you're all about that lifestyle where you just don't put a shirt on for months, this is the best place to do it. If you don't give a crap about air conditioning, if you don't give a crap about McDonald's or anything like that, this is a paradise for that. The locals, the people here, are extremely friendly, but not overbearing. They don't seem annoying or anything like that. It's just they seem like they're happy to help you, instead of other places in the world you go, they seem like they're bothered.
Yeah, by tourists.
By tourists. They're very welcoming, and they're just laid back, and again, it's not like it seems like they're trying too hard to impress you or anything like that. Certainly you have the people on the side of the street trying to wave you into their restaurant, but the people here seem genuinely kind of happy to see you, or even going to these little hole-in-the-wall kiosks on the side of the coastal highway. Yeah. They don't speak a lick of English, most of them. But
most people. We've talked to, other than the American tourists we've seen, I think we've spoken to one person, that guy this morning, a local that spoke fluent English.
Will.
Great legend guy.
Man, I should go get him, bring him. Hey, come be on the show.
You want to be on the show?
Well, come on, Will.
You should ask him. What I was just going to say was, right now you were talking about tourism and traveling here versus California, blah, blah, blah. So I feel like right now this area in particular is experiencing kind of a sweet spot in the tourism market cycle. So in the early stages of an area developing in tourism, they're not going to have the support of the infrastructure to really get what you want. So you just have really adventurous people that are there. You get longer
Yeah.
later into the cycle, and it's going to be overflowing with tourists. Prices go up, and for some people that's great because you have all the comforts that you would have at home,
But with a view.
but with a view. And this is somewhere in between. It's still fairly early, I think. There's enough of an infrastructure here that you can get the luxuries that you want, like that resort we went to yesterday was very nice.
Yeah.
We could rent a car. I mean, Hertz is down the road at the airport. There's some good restaurants if you want to spend a little bit more money. There was a brewery we went to today. But on the other hand, I mean, that guy earlier said there are a lot of tourists here. What were there, like 10 people?
Yeah.
Or something like that. So it's
He was very stoned. I think we should mention. He's from California. He was quite...
I think so, yeah. He asked like 3 times if we had a car.
Oh, yeah. You guys got a car, bro? Yeah. For the 3rd time, we definitely have a car. Okay, so in Hawaii, as far as we're talking about marijuana, there's Maui Wowie in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Maui.
Yeah.
So what would be El Salvador? Savory Salvador? We didn't smoke any of it. Let me just put that out there right now. But the guy we talked to earlier this morning was clearly had partaken.
His eyes were pretty red.
He wasn't a bad dude.
No, he was super nice.
That's what I'm saying. Like he came. He's like, I'm just here for the summer. This is my 5th time, or the spring, whatever he was here for. A week.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
I don't know. He's a regular. He said this is his 5th time here, and it doesn't seem like local law enforcement gives too much of a crap about you smoking. If it's even illegal, it might not even be illegal.
I have no idea. I'm not gonna risk it.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, it's not gonna. It's not worth it.
The police officers down the street with the heavy machine guns might come after us, so I'm not gonna risk doing really anything illegal.
But what is illegal? I don't even know. Like,
True.
What are the laws here? I have no idea.
On our 1-hour drive from the airport, we saw exactly 0 speed limit signs, so I have no idea if we were breaking the law, speeds or not.
Though, as we went out today, I looked harder and I saw one that said like 15 kilometers an hour. I didn't believe that.
That's way too slow. That's your limit to walk.
Yeah, don't walk faster than 15 kilometers. And I did see one that said 40 kilometers, but around a curve.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't know. To what Dan was saying a few minutes ago, yeah, I think it's at that sweet spot where if you are just slightly adventurous, you want a different change of pace to what you normally experience. If you're cool with the idea or the possibility that you might be sleeping with 0 air conditioning, you have to be open to that, and that the shower doesn't have hot water or cold water. It's just whatever comes out of it.
Yeah.
Because the water apparently is just, they bring you tanks of water. What did you say, once every 3 days or something
That's
like
what
that?
the email said, yeah.
Which makes me think, on a side note, I know we're recording right now, but it made me think, what if the water might be okay to drink out of the tap?
Not going to risk it.
I'm not going to risk it. We bought a gallon of what looked to be windshield wiper fluid, but it turns out it is drinkable. And it's not blue, it's just that the
plastic was blue.
Plastic is blue. Because she said azure, what is blue? Azul.
Yeah.
But it was water, aqua azul, that's what it was.
Yeah.
So maybe that didn't help any things either. I was like, blue water? Blue water
just
is
regular water things.
Just have regular agua? No, but it was regular water. So if you're looking for a vacation that is most definitely going to be a vacation, like if you come here, it is not hard to get cerveza and good cheap food. If you just want to relax on the beach all day.
Yep. Without the crowds. That's
without
one of
crowds.
the keys.
Yeah, definitely without crowds.
And it's not going to break the bank. That's another big thing.
Yeah.
And if you like ceviche,
seafood, the ocean, the water, it feels very nice, as we alluded to. The air, for what it is, it's very tropical, but it's not overly humid. No. It's warm.
Yeah.
It's probably upper 80s right now.
Yeah.
Maybe lower 90s, actually.
Lower 90s, I would say. We're in the shade. I think if we step into the sun, it's going to heat up pretty quick. Yesterday, when we first walked down there, I was like, it's pretty hot.
It was, at the airport, it was 95 degrees. And I was wearing I bought a hoodie, a NASA hoodie, because, again, I was kidnapped. I didn't have much equipment with me or clothes. Sarah did pack. She was in on it. So was my boss, Justin.
Both of those people did a great job to help me in this, by the way.
I asked my boss like a few weeks out. I was like, I'm telling you right now, if they're planning something, and if you know anything, please tell me so I'm not just overly anxious about it, because I was just promising him. I promise you, if they try to kidnap me and you don't know anything about it, then I'm going to tell them no, and I'm going to stay at work. I don't want to get fired. And Justin's like, I genuinely have no effing clue what you were talking about.
Top man.
Yeah.
You did well.
So I texted him from the airport at like 7 a.m. in Houston. I just said, you butthole. He texted me back a question mark. I was like, oh, dang it. I really need to be at work at noon. But
the question mark was like, turns out he had no idea, and now you're fired.
Well, that's when I respond. I'm at the airport right now. He just goes, have a fun trip. Yeah, so he was in on. He did a very convincing job of saying, being very boss-like. I have no idea what you're talking about. I expect you here, basically.
Is he coming to the wedding?
No.
I gotta buy him a beer at some point.
Oh yeah, he's really good. You'd like Justin.
All right.
Justin's really good people.
He's done well.
How much of this cerveza do we have left? Or should we start wrapping this thing up? We've been talking pretty long.
How long do you usually talk on these? I can't remember.
There's no time limit to Midweek Geek. What else happened here?
Does that say 56 minutes?
We started at 25.
Oh, okay.
So we're about 20 minutes into it right now. We could, you know what? I don't mind some little pauses here because the ocean is in the background.
The ocean is...
It's ASMR for people who want to be by the ocean. Do you know what that is?
No, of course not.
Ass solicitation must...
what?
Requiesce. I don't know.
What are you talking about?
No, it's auto... Oh, what was it? I just did a whole... No.
Now?
I did a whole show on what ASMR was. Auto... no.
Yeah, I love coming to El Salvador
sensory...
for all the fantastic BS 36.
What? Oh my gosh, I feel so stupid.
Oh, you went
You
to
got to
El
remember,
Salvador?
we were in El Salvador.
Did you have the CQM?
Did you have the C-3PO and the R2-D2 experience?
Yeah, man.
ASMR.
Oh yeah, I love that restaurant. They got some great ASQ.
Let's listen to the waves for 15 seconds because screw it. So that was Waves, brought to you by God, from the music label What God Made. I did remember something. When we walked in, the lady was showing us around who was very, very nice. What was her name? I don't know. Something. What? She had a name. The lady who showed us around.
Oh,
you called the dude.
Yeah,
a dude.
His name was Antonio. The lady was Francesca, I think.
Okay.
Francesca. She's the one that was raking the grass.
She was raking the grass. And we think she started a wildfire, honestly.
Yeah.
I'll put video of that in this if I upload it to YouTube. But she was showing us around the rooms. In my room, very proudly showcases maybe 20 or so VHS tapes.
Yeah, I really want to know what's on those tapes.
But I couldn't find a VCR. I don't even know if there's a TV in here.
I don't think so. I haven't seen one.
But we didn't open everything. We really just kind of lay in our bed and then go out, pretty much.
Yeah.
Will this microphone work in the waves, do you think?
Is it waterproof?
The laptop definitely. Well, let's check it out.
Okay. My phone is somewhat waterproof.
Dan's phone has a permanent echo on everything because he thinks he brings into the shower too much or something.
I shower with my phone for music.
Yeah.
And now it sounds like a robot every time somebody speaks.
I honestly think that's just a setting. Nobody cares about that. And I can't think of anything much else to say other than thank you for kidnapping me, Dan, and bringing me to, of all places in the universe, El Salvador. That's a big wave out there.
Yeah, that is a good one. That's a good one. Oh, yeah, that would have been a good one to surf or get pummeled by.
Okay, we're not ending here.
Let's talk about
one final
pummeled.
thought. Yes, one final thought. Kind of back to surfing and being out in the surf and people, because I know a lot of people listening to this are going to be from Houston, and they're used to Galveston and that, just getting hit in the face with turds in tiny little 1-foot waves. When you come out to the Pacific Ocean, and there's actual waves, like actual, man, some of them probably 15 foot, pretty easily. There's some towering ones.
There's some scary ones when you're out there.
So I'm going to say this because this is kind of the way I used to think when I was a little bit younger. You hear all the danger with surfing and drowning and getting pummeled by waves and people drowning in the surf and everything like that. You think, I know how to swim. Now, how hard? Why are people drowning and dying in the waves? It's just water. How can that hurt you? No. Go out into waves that are actually of any sort of decent girth and just get hit by one of them.
Yeah.
And it is quite easy to realize how easily you can die out in big surf. I mean, even worse if you can't swim. But even if you can swim, if you get hit by, you see these surfers surfing these towering like 50 foot, 30 foot, 40 foot wave. If you get picked up by the curl of it and you're just in the curl as it slams down onto itself.
Yeah.
Not even if there's not reefs or rocks, even if it's just flat sand down there, depending how late to the shore it breaks, that thing comes down on you. It's not just slamming you into the dirt. It's slamming like multiple 18-wheelers on top of you.
Yeah.
There's so much weight. You get tossed around like such a rag doll. It really puts things in perspective. If you go out in waves like this, like we're listening to right now, and you get hit by a couple of them, it's not even getting hit because you'll get hit by one of them and you'll just be tossed around and slammed on the ground like a rag doll, thinking if I put my arms out, I could break my arm pretty easily.
Yeah.
The way it slams you around. Then you come up thinking it's over.
Yeah.
You're like spitting out all the water, trying to take one breath, and then another wave just crashes right on top of you.
Your eyes are still closed because it's salt water, and you're trying to get the water out of your face so you can breathe and open your eyes. And you take a big breath, and at that exact moment, a second wave hits you right in the face, and then you drink a lot of salt water.
It doesn't just hit you in the face. You're at the mercy of the water. You're being tossed around. So there's something we like to do in our group of friends, which is yell and scream like little ninnies when things are happening.
Mildly happening.
So you think you want to get hit by a big wave and then immediately come up and go, "Ah!" But don't do that because that's wasted. That's going to be wasted breath because you're about to get hit by another one. So you need to be able to hold your breath for possibly a little while.
To live.
Yeah, so don't waste it just trying to scream like an idiot.
Because you'll feel awfully foolish when you're underwater with your head scraping on the ground. And you're just thinking, I shouldn't have yelled. Wish I had more oxygen in my lungs.
Mm-hmm. There's a big one right there.
Yeah.
And they seem small. Like, we know it's big because we've been down there. And you're watching it from here. Oh, that doesn't look that big. That I could take that. No. It'll humble you pretty quick.
Yeah.
They are fun though.
Yeah.
If you respect it. And normally I don't care about wearing my watch into the ocean, but for this stuff, I'll take things off.
Yeah. The good thing you made a good comment. I was walking out there in my sunglasses, these are good sunglasses. These aren't like cheap ones. And you were like, maybe you want to take those off or something like that. And I was initially gonna be like, no, I've swam with sunglasses plenty of time. And then I was like, I'll take them off. Good thing I did. They would have gotten smashed off in my face so quickly. I would have lost them forever.
Anytime I would dive under a wave coming at me.
Yeah.
And I just knew you were like 20 yards behind. It's like, okay, if I'm diving in at it at this time, then it's just gonna crash on Daniel's face.
Yeah.
So I dive through it just very peacefully, and look back to you, just ankles and wrists just sticking out of the white foam. That's way. Just every time praying that you came up to the surface. And you did.
Yeah.
All right, that's a long podcast. I never know how long these are going to be. They're kind of rambling on, but that's fine. Midweek Geek is completely freeform. I'm going to have to edit some things out. I farted in this, but I'm going to edit it out. We talked about some other things I'm going to edit out just in case I want people to give me money. Dan, do you have anything to add? I'll ask this real quick.
Okay.
It was El Salvador, and what else were you thinking?
I looked at Honduras. I looked at different parts of Mexico. To be candid, I did look at ski destinations like Colorado and places like that. I looked at Jamaica. I looked at briefly Cuba. Where else? Panama, Costa Rica, but that started to get a little further away because I didn't want it to be too far of a trip because we're going to be only here a couple of days. So, and then there were a few other places that I thought it was difficult to choose. And then the deciding factor was this was much cheaper than the rest. So that's I did look at other places.
Okay.
Even looked at Austin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not very long, but yeah.
5 million people by like 2025, whatever Andrew was saying.
That's what we're told. Yeah.
I can't even fathom that.
That's too much people.
That's too many people.
You can't
in Austin.
say
That's...
too much people. You can say too many people. I don't know why I said that.
What did on the customs thing? We will really wrap this up. But on the customs report, you have to fill out a piece of paper if you ever fly internationally. It asks you questions like how many people you traveling with, where you coming from, where you going, why are you coming, vacation, business.
Are you carrying $10,000 or more?
Do you have 10 grand on you? Are you carrying fruits in your butt? Anything like that.
Yeah.
One of the questions is how many pieces of luggage are you carrying with you? So I wrote down one because I only had my backpack.
Yeah.
And then the next one, how many pieces of baggage are you not carrying with you? Like, all of it in the world.
Yeah, everything.
The whole entire earth that isn't on my back is what I'm not carrying with me.
I will say I have been to many places I've never seen that question before on an immigration card.
How much luggage are you not carrying with you? Well, I guess all of it, really. Yours? I don't have. Where's yours? It's not accounted for. If you think we're joking, there was a serious question. Serious. What are you not carrying? Everything. All right. I'm just gonna let this fade out with let's just be quiet for 30 seconds and just let the waves kind of fade out. I think that would be good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
In parting, I'd like to just say we could easily talk about this for more time.
Oh yeah.
For much more time, actually. And I'm just happy to be here with you for a few days. We're gonna continue to have a good time. And thank you for having me on the show again.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah.
Do you want to? I'm gonna phrase this. Well, there's no way I could phrase this other than how I'm gonna say it. Do you want to plug anything?
What are you getting at?
Oh, jeez. Thank you for that was a business. Okay, whatever. Thank you for listening to Geek Therapy Radio. I've been your mental curator, Johnny Hamburger. There's no bump music here. We're just going to listen to the waves for the next, 30 seconds, a minute or so. I'll fade it out. Just a minute, Dan, shut up. Just let the waves carry us out. Thanks for listening.